Pure life energy never changes, reduces or disappears. This energy, in various guises and forms, becomes solar systems and the life on our world. The energy left over when physical creation is complete is represented in Hindu culture in the form of a snake. Again, in Hindu culture, this snake energy, called Kundalini Shakti, is understood to sleep under the backbone. We find the same symbol in the figure representing the universe, or universal man, on the Balim Sultan tomb in the Bektasi lodge. There are two sides to creation. One goes from a spiritual center to a plurality. The other returns to the spiritual center from plurality. Plurality is in fact the separation of pure consciousness from the divine source. This creative energy is called Shakti in Hindu culture and is a curtain alienating creatures from the divine source. It is Maya. Until the creative and productive mother raises the covers she has put in place, we cannot return to the center we came from. Therefore, this female energy, represented as the snake, needs to be woken up and mobilized. This is the beginning of spiritual awakening. After the awakening snake energy has risen and joined with the secret in the heart, it goes again to where it came from, completing the circle. The Sanskrit word for this creation energy, Kundalini Shakti, means a fire burning in a hollow cup.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahu nuru semawati vel ard mersalli nurihi.
This 35th verse of the surah, Light, which is recited at gem ceremonies, briefly says this: Allah is the light of the skies and the earth. His light is like that of a lamp. The lamp is as if it was made of glass, like a star from a pearl. The lamp is lit from an olive tree. The oil from this tree spreads light even if fire seems not to touch it. This is light upon light. Allah gives the light to whom He wishes. The saying, light upon light, seems as if it represents Kulli Nefs, which is light, together with Kulli Akal, which is that same light, that divine consciousness, clothed through the gem of Kulli Nefs that gives love and light. To reach divine knowledge, to take steps towards the spiritual world, we have to embrace that spiritual awakening of light called Kulli Nefs, that mythologically female power which brought us down to the material world. In the gem ceremony of the Nurhak Alevis, this awakening female energy is symbolized by the rising of the women to their feet. This divine consciousness, symbolized by a candle or a light in a bowl, comes to life and is lit after this awakening and begins the journey towards the spiritual center, towards unity.
Çara oruçan, farkı dervişan, himmeti piran, piri Khorasan, küşadı meydan, gele erişesin ya sahip zaman, diyelim Allah Allah.
Allah Allah. Hak alemler yapılan hizmetleri divan dergahına kayıt eyleyelim. Nur Nebi Kerem Ali Pirimiz, Üstazımız Seyyid Muhammed Hünkar Hacı Bektaş Veli, gerçek erinlerin demine mümine ya Ali. Hata ettim hüda, yak delili, Muhammed Mustafa, yak delili.
The second creative principle in Bektasi belief is Kulli Nefs, which is represented by Muhammad. The feminine or mother nature of Kulli Nefs, the creative energy, is not a matter of gender. This feminine principle is an energy of tenderness, peace, softness and self-sacrifice, which can silently end itself, which gives us life and breath, nurtures us spiritually and physically, and protects us.
Hü dilersen mürem ederse devayı hü diyelim Allah Allah. Gerçek erenlerin demine hü.
This is an energy found in both men and women. In the same way, isn't Haji Bektasi the perfect man who came into the blood and tears of the 13th century to meet men's spiritual needs and nurture them? An energy of peace and kindness. Haji Bektasi took Ali to symbolize the light, the universal man, the Kuli Akıl, who has no dichotomies in his nature like soul and body, mind and breath, male and female. As people, our spiritual existence was once in this Kuli Akıl. When Allah wants something to be, He says, be, and it is. On this command, the cosmic mind known as Insani Kamil came down and began to form the material world we know. The birth of man and matter was manifested through the sacrifice of that everlasting spirit, Kuli Akil, or Insani Kamil, without gender, form or differentiation. After creation, the lower nature of Kuli Nefs, life and life energy, is fastened to the physical body and takes corporeal form. In this way, this energy both gives life and spirit to the body created from earth, and also equips this body with all the knowledge and psychological and emotional equipment it needs to preserve and maintain itself. It's something we share with plants and animals.
Canlı cansız cümlemiz bir nesneden, gül yüzlü sevdiğim gel gel. Var oluyor bu bir hikmet sultanım, gül yüzlü sevdiğim gel gel. Sevip aşık olmak ezelden baktım
To love, to fall in love, has been my fate from time immemorial, says Deadly Divani, because the reason that creation makes the invisible visible is love. Love in all creatures, including man, other than Allah, is a fire which destroys all beings and all relations. Therefore, when love burns, it is nothing else than the unmediated knowledge of Allah, as it leaves nothing but Allah behind. But this ability is dormant in man. The Divine Spirit, which at Allah's command descends to the material level and conceals itself in the hearts of men, becomes converted into a desire to know the material world and the body. In this way, man's mind becomes a window through which spirit perceives the world. But man has eaten of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which led to his banishment from paradise. This is the source of judgment, which spoils the purity of the mind. Man has eaten of the forbidden fruit and has descended to the material level, and his mind is thus judgmental, dividing and compartmentalizing. Man labels his impressions of the outside world good and bad. He rejects the evil and puts it out of his mind. He tries to possess the good. This opens the way to ambition, jealousy, anger, hate, arrogance, and dependence. In time, these build a wall in our hearts which hides the divine light from our sight. Thus man becomes separated from the divine light and starts to think he actually comprises these feelings and thoughts. Becoming one with his body, he comes to identify with the customs of the community he lives in and becomes a mother or father, gains a profession and nationality. Personality and character emerge in this way. Bad behavior leaves ugly marks on the personality, symbolized by a container in Bektasi belief. Bad habits deform this container. Thus man completely immerses himself in the material world and forgets God's presence in himself. As Allah sacrificed his spiritual existence to create the visible world, man must renounce his human existence and personality in order to become the universal man and complete his evolution. While the descent, the creation, is Allah's affair, the ascent is for man and requires his unique effort. And this effort always starts with a call.